when it comes to every other thing in our life, we should just equate it with dal chawal and like the relationship career. We should stick to the dal chawal in that zone. Ki, haan, theek hai, this is the person or this is the career, and we should always come back to that.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Sip Happens. I'm Priyanshi.
And Aditi,
I'm Ishita, and in this episode of Sip Happens, we are going to talk about something that we all are guilty of. Why so many choices are making us miserable. And join us in this episode of Sip Happens.
Okay guys, so let's be honest. When was the last time you actually spent less time on deciding to do something rather than actually doing it?
like bro, last night only I was on Zomato scrolling as to what I want to eat, and it took me 40 to 50 minutes, and I still ended up not deciding because I had too many options and choices available on the fucking app, and I ended up cooking for myself. So this is what happens when you have too many choices on your plate.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
yeah, I think that is actually true because every time you have n number of options, for example, I open Netflix and I see, there are 10 shows. And maybe those 10 shows do not belong to the genre that I like, but I will, think, what if that is nice? What if the other one is nice? But at the end, I still end up watching Friends, which means that no matter what your choices are, you want to watch that one thing or maybe stick to that one food, for example, dal chawal. So I think choices
Hmm.
make things more difficult, honestly.
for me, it's more about shopping. Like added 50 of things in my cart. I do not need any single of them, but I'll just doom scroll every day thinking ki I should get this or this. And actually, I don't even need it, but it's just that I have too many options that I feel like this is the necessity, but it is not.
Yeah. So
And
it's kind of like having too many choices and no peace in your head. Like everything is just so messed up.
And I think that's really true and applicable in like day-to-day life.
Day-to-day
So,
life,
guys,
yeah.
the other day I was reading a book by Barry Schwartz. He's a psychologist, and the name of his book is Paradox of Choice. उसमें he mentions कि कुछ choices are good, ठीक है, कुछ होनी चाहिए. But when you have a lot of choices, then it is like a torture to yourself because there is a phenomena called as choice overload. ठीक है, उसमें ऐसा होता है कि rather than being content with what you have chosen, your brain will torment you into thinking कि what if the other alternative was good. So what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, so according to me, I think so. Higher expectations, it leads to dissatisfaction because with more options, what happens is कि people they tend to expect more from their decisions, and in reality, जब these doesn't matches with things doesn't matches with these inflated expectations which we have created in our head because of the choices available, it can lead to disappointment. And even if the decision was objectively good or bad, doesn't matter. We are most of the time disappointed or regretting as to, oh, I had that choice available and I didn't choose that or whatever. And also that too many choices is it kind of overwhelm us क्योंकि हाँ इतने सब चीजें हैं, and then every time in our head it's like always that what if questions कि what if I would have chosen this, what if I would have chosen that, and yeah, so things goes on, and it kind of sometimes rather than liberating us, it paralyzes our brain.
Yeah, I think too, I also think that because the other day I was also reading some article, and that it mentioned that when you have a lot of choices, so as a result of that, what happens is that creates a hedonic adaptation, which essentially means that, okay, you chose one thing, now the thrill fades away. Now you do not try to get back that thrill from the thing that you chose primarily for yourself, but then because there are options available, you quickly jump to it. So
Right.
more option doesn't equate to happiness because
True.
happiness does not scale linearly with more options. It comes
Hmm.
from within. So instead of, going and exploring more options just because they are on the market and just because somebody else chose it for themselves, we should stick with one that we actually value and that actually makes us happy.
True. And in this era of internet now that we have access to every fucking thing, be it food, partner, relationship, career, everybody's mind is actually effed up because like in previous, like when we were kids, like we had no options, so we were just choosing जो भी हमारे सामने था. Like we used to do that. But growing up, because we have been open to so many things, it kind of confuses us, and like unnecessary choices हो जाते हैं यार फालतू के.
I think life was simpler when we had not many choices. I mean, we liked dal chawal for the longest time. And
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
do.
And we still do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just explore the other Western cuisines just because it is a norm now. You should know all the cuisines around the world.
Right, right. Which is good. Like it's fine at some point. Like, okay, you want to explore culture, you want to explore food, cuisines and stuff. But at the end, you're coming back to dal chawal only. Like that is your go-to and comfort
That
food.
is the comfort food.
That makes you.
When it comes to every other things in our life, we should just equate it with dal chawal and
Yeah.
like be it relationship, career. We should stick to the dal chawal in that zone. कि हाँ ठीक है, this is the person or this is the career, and we should always come back to that.
Yeah, you know, Bunny said, जिंदगी में दाल चावल थोड़ी खा सकते हैं, but 10 दिन
दाल
बाहर
चावल नहीं खाना।
रहने के बाद have a European holiday, but उसके बाद तो इंडिया के खाने की दाल चावल की याद है.
Yes,
That's the entire
yes.
point, I think.
True, true, true.
So guys, let's talk about the relationship stuff or the dating stuff, where we constantly compare our current partners or maybe the person we are with right now with someone else, and we sometimes do not want to settle just because we think maybe the other person might be the next best choice for us, and are we constantly in that zone of being confused? Like, what do you guys think?
I think definitely. You know what? The problem with today's generation is in the fear of missing out on something. We have a fear of missing out on something that we actually don't know exists or we haven't met. But because we have that thing, you know, maybe that maybe is the entire problem, I feel.
So I feel like that nowadays people they kind of approach love like a restaurant menu as to what can you offer me, and it has basically become like more optimizing rather than connecting. Or आजकल I've also seen this in relationship, like basically the flaws which a person has or normal challenges which they have in their life, like they have started treating them as deal breakers कि हाँ अच्छा ये है तो फिर अभी तो it's done, like it's done, rather than understanding कि okay it can be a flaw of another person and we need to understand and talk about it. So instead of growing together, nowadays people are often jumping the ship too quickly. कि no, this person has done this, now I cannot like deal with this, let me just get out of it. So that's wrong actually, because if you're looking for a long-term relationship, there'll be no perfect person, and a time will come even after marriage, like maybe you're so much disgusted or done with something what the other partner has done, but you still have to make it work because you have to stick with it because of family, because of the love which existed. You cannot keep on jumping from one person to another.
See, I feel like there is always going to be someone better suited for
True.
you.
Yes.
But the fact that you chose to be with someone and not going for the next better option, I think that should come from within. You know, like you constantly make that decision every day that I need to make things work because possibility hai ki you will find somewhere better. But what
Right.
you have with this person, you might not have it with someone else. And it's just like comparison is the thief of joy, and we constantly keep comparing our partners ki yaar wo itna karta hai and stuff like that.
Bro.
So I think ki we are not actually living it. We are just.
So for me, it's like for me, love is like if you're just staying. If you're just staying, that is love for me. Like
Are you,
and not giving up.
that?
Like,
are
huh?
you trying to say that we should lower our standards and settle for any?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
it's not lowering our standards. If the relationship was going smooth, you guys were compatible and things were going well, then after that, if something is there which is annoying you about your partner, don't leave like just because of that one thing. Like then you should like love should be like staying for, because okay, there might be things in you which the other partner is also not liking, other person is not liking. So for me, love is like just stay after like actually figuring out that she's the one or he's the one, stay after that rather than fucking around or
When it comes
looking
to
for
love
other
and
choices.
dating, I'm sorry. I think when it comes to love and dating, it's more about the fact that, of course, I'm not saying that you should settle down for one person. Of course, you should have a list of, non-negotiables with you. That is what I feel. So just because there are choices available, jumping from one ship to another, as you mentioned, is not the right thing and would
True.
not give you happiness. But if a person is not well suited as per your non-negotiables, then it's all right to move on.
Hmm,
But
hmm, hmm, hmm.
but if your list is something like that, something so stupid, because if you are gonna switch choices because of the way someone looks, then you are always gonna find a better looking person
Looking
out there.
person.
And maybe there is one person who might be a bit aggressive, there is other person who might be too soft, so you cannot
True.
be handled too aggressive and too soft as well. So it's
Hmm.
like, just make and decide what are the non-negotiables, and then if you want to switch your choices, that's all right. But just switching choices for the sake of it, for the sake of exploring more options, I think won't lead you to happiness.
True.
And also, I feel the people who are constantly switching and exploring, they can never settle for one thing and they'll never feel content from within. They'll
Right,
always
right,
see the
right.
possibility that even this is not working, maybe something more better. So I think wo under se they'll not be content with it.
I have one incident. So I was speaking. So I live in the UK, and here there is no such thing as commitment and stuff like that. So I was having this conversation with a person, and then I asked him in general, how many people have you dated? How many people have you been with? So he told me, he gave me a number. It was like in two digits. I was definitely a lot. So I said
Hmm.
he was around 28-ish. So I asked, so now what? What are you planning to do? Then he exactly told me this thing. I feel that the more number of people you are with, the more confused you get at the end of the day. Because one person might have one thing, the other might have the other thing, and now you don't know what you actually want. You
Want.
had the taste of everything, but you're so confused. And I feel that's really true.
And in this world of dating apps, frankly, like, okay, we end up meeting people, we meet a lot of people, but what it does to us personally is it kinds of builds loneliness because even with so many options available, there's no true connections. Okay? And very shallow connections are built, like we talk to so many people and we rarely bond with like any of them.
We don't even
So,
remember the names, bro.
yeah, we don't. So,
Yeah.
As you said it is a very shallow thing. Like dating apps are shallow, and I haven't had any success in finding even a good date or maybe relationship to chhod do. So I'm not relying on that.
Yeah, because people on dating apps are there to explore options. They're not there for commitment. And that is
And
the
they're exploring very well. They're exploring
that
very
is the problem, because they feel that there's so many options, why to commit to one? And at the end of the day, they end up being lonely, end up being depressed. And I think all of this is only giving depression, anxiety, nothing else.
true. True.
So, guys, given that this entire problem of choices we talked about, what do you think is the actual problem?
I think so. The actual problem here is social media. Like, social media is the problem, Instagram is the problem, YouTube is the problem because it kinds of gives us FOMO, and we always have this anxiety of missing out. And FOMO is the uneasy and sometimes all-consuming feeling that others are having more fun than me and they are living better lives, making better choices than we are. So it's kind of a psychological reaction which is triggered by comparison, and how it makes me feel is everyone else is doing something cooler or more fulfilling, or they are more successful than I am right now. So that is very, very annoying and it makes me anxious personally.
Yeah. What about you, Priyanshi? What do you think? Does social media affect you?
I mean, yeah, it definitely does in some ways, but lately I've been away from social media, so I'll share a real life experience. So I and my friends, we decided to go for a vacation, and we had a lot of options, like a lot of options, and we were so engulfed in deciding the pros and cons list. We literally made a list ki either ऐसे से this is the problem and this is the nice thing about it, and we talked about it like for 3 days and ended up going nowhere because we had too many options and we could not choose one.
Mm. I think, yeah, definitely. Honestly, for example, just bringing out that point where you see, people good sides on Instagram, for example. And
True,
then what
true.
happens is, if you see that somebody has a boyfriend who is getting
Hmm.
them flowers, doing something for them and everything. So now if you're with someone, for example, now you have that constant thing of you compare that person that you saw on social media, who would have perhaps done all of that just for the sake of making that one video, but you think, the person you are with is not
Yeah,
good enough. So why
good
not
enough, right?
go out and, explore more people who would do it for me?
It's like these curated perfection creates a distorted view of reality in our head, making us believe or making us feel inadequate, behind in life, and indecisive about our own choices that we make.
And I think, yes, and everything, everything out there in the market comes with opportunity cost. So more than the opportunities, of course, all of them would have their positives and negatives. It would
Negatives, right?
not, if one thing is not like, that's
Hmm.
perfect in the way it is, and it will give you all the happiness you want. So it is about what you can negotiate
Hmm.
with and what you cannot negotiate with.
And also, like, it affects our personal life on like different levels. Like, firstly, it affects our mental health. It increases anxiety. It gives us self-doubt, lower self-esteem. Then also relationship, like people nowadays are hesitant to commit. Also productivity, like there's constant comparison and indecision drain focus and motivation going on in our head.
Yeah.
So I think so it is affecting our personal lives as well.
And see, I feel that is the problem with social media. If you're talking about, I would urge all the influencers that not to always post the rosy picture and actually post things which are going on in their life on daily basis, which we can relate to. Like people have this gimmick of posting the vacation photos and all the stuff and all the good things about their life. Like I cannot relate to that. Maybe I feel jealous or maybe I want to live that life. But that is the thing with social media. They've set standards that people only post happy memories or happy part of their life. And then we start comparing and then we start comprehending ki, why am I not able to live what the kind of life they are living.
I think so. Like
We
now, we should also aim on for like sticking to the good enough choices than to always going behind those perfect ones. Rather than, I think so, just stick with the good ones and make that the perfect one rather than always running behind ki, okay, perfect might be there somewhere and losing the good enough ones.
And instead of, trying to chase happiness through these choices, we should more believe in the joy, because I think joy and happiness are two different things. Happiness is
True.
very momentarily.
Hmm.
Now I am happy because I achieved something. For example, I made a good choice.
Hmm.
Definitely, next moment I won't be happy because that moment has already passed. So instead, stick with the choices that make you, give you joy for,
Gives you joy. Hmm.
yeah.
when we think about choices, maybe it's not choosing a one perfect thing out of 100 options. Maybe it is just settling down with the fact that, okay, I chose this thing and it is the best for me, and making peace with it in your life. Because I think real happiness, it comes from being content with what you have
True.
and making peace with it.
Yeah. And for me, like if I talk about building healthy relationships in this FOMO world, I think so for me it would be like be intentional as in choose based on values and not just vibes like okay, and then limit your comparisons, commit to growth, like view love as a journey and not as a transaction from like one place to another, and accept imperfection, and yeah, please put that phone away, phone down, like deep connection actually happens offline. So yeah,
Yeah.
stick to that.
I think that's really important, because in this world of the FOMO trap and everything, instead of having the fear of missing out, we should have a joy of missing out. So it should be like, I don't want 100 options, but I want the right option for me. And if I feel that this is the right option for me, I don't care whatever is happening in this world, I will give my best to make this choice that I made meaningful. And I think that would
True.
actually make us happy instead of just exploring options. So the next time, and anyone who's watching this episode, you chase choices. Sit down, take a sip, watch our episode, and think again if you actually want it. On this note, we end this episode, guys. Bye bye. Do
Bye,
like, share, and
guys.
subscribe if you're watching. And leave comments.
All love, have fun, and take care of yourself, guys.
Bye.